Let's discuss a BOB, a bailout bag, or sometimes called a get-home bag. Now, this is different from your 72-hour kit, or which you can easily extend for a week or 2 weeks, where you're leaving your home, or even an inch bag, I'm not coming home bag. This is equivalent, a BOB bag, to jumping out of an airplane and making sure you have a parachute, or you're on a ship and you have to go over the side. You make sure that you have a life jacket. Now, it's a little complicated by a couple constraints. One is, do you really want to leave something really expensive in your car that some thief could break in and steal it from you? And also you have the extremes of the weather. You know, cold in the winter, hot in the summer. So one way I've gotten around that is I have a small BOB bag which doesn't have any items that are particularly deteriorated by the weather. And also, if it was stolen, you know, it would be a bummer, but you know, I could deal with it. So you have a small bag that you put in your vehicle that you leave there permanently. And then I also have the larger BOB bag, which this one is a Condor bag, and this is actually the one that I hiked the 500 miles on the El Camino with. Let's go briefly through our modules. The first one be shelter and clothing. So within the small bag, I have a little Smug Pack survival shirt. So this is a nylon type material, and it's full sleeve, it has a hood, and covers your whole torso, and you can be just a little bit warmer, but the most important thing is you can be dry, and on one occasion this really proved helpful. Another item in the smaller bag is some foul weather gear pants from Sportsman's Warehouse, and it folds up pretty small, so that's in there. And then it has a space emergency blanket, and this is a little bit different than the normal ones you see. On the inside, it's silver colored to retain the heat, but on the outside, it's OD to conceal you a bit. And in theory, this might hide you from thermal camera. Also in this bag, I know from my experience from hiking that it's really nice to have a buff, and so you pull this over your head and you can come up with all sorts of configurations to keep dust and the sun off you. So a buff is really could prove to be handy, and in an extreme situation, particularly in a urban type environment, if there was dust or some sort of pollution going, there's a little surgical mask. So that's in the smaller bag. In the larger bag, for shelter and clothing, there's an army poncho. Now this is the old style one. This one might be 30, 35 years old. It's still in great shape, and it's just a wonderful tool to have. It allows you to keep dry. You can sleep in it, stay warm. You can use it as a stretcher to carry someone. So just a great tool. And then also within the larger bag, there's a second space emergency blanket. So you've got two of these, so you could use one as a blanket. You could use the other one as a ground cloth. You've got the army poncho that you could make a tent over yourself or wrap up in that also. The next item would be water. In the larger bag, there's two items to address that. One is a bottle of water. You can hopefully find a source of safe drinking water, but you want to have some on hand when you start. Now, let's keep in mind, I keep a number of equipment items in my vehicles, including a case of water. So if you did have to abandon your car and hike home, you'd want to be a little bit like Les Stroud and the famous survival teacher, and go through your car and see what else is useful. But in ensuring that you have a safe water, I also have a bird key sport here. You fill it up with water, the filter's inside, and this flips back and you can suck on it. It has a couple carabiners attached to the bag, so you've got water, you've got shelter and clothing. The next item would be food, and as I explained in my module with everyday carry, if I'm within one day's hike of getting home, I usually don't ensure any additional food. But if you're going to be further, I like to carry an MRE for each day. So this is a spaghetti and meatballs. This one is Parmesan chicken. So what I have here would be what I'm planning on is for 3 days. So at my age, that's 30 to 45 miles, maybe 50 miles hiking. The next item would be energy, and so one of the items that I've got in here is a couple cigarette lighters so that to build a fire with. I've got a Petzl headlamp. I've got some enough extra batteries to replace those that are currently in it. Also in the smaller bag, just for redundancy, I've got some strike-on box matches, and then I've got some storm matches. The fifth item, and also on both the water and the food, I do carry a Stanley steel cup so that you can, what I usually do is I fill it with water and I somehow stuff the entrees from the MREs in here and let them boil, let them heat up, and then pull the pouch out, eat the contents, and if I need the water, I let it cool and then I drink the water. Now for protection, of course in my everyday carry I have a knife, but in addition with longer trips I usually take my Glock 17, so I carry it in what's called a tanker holster. You unclip it, out comes the pistol, and you've got that handy. And then also I carry 2 extra clips of 9mm. I also carry a trigger lock. You never know when you might have to stow your gun, either in your vehicle or within the pack, and so you use this to lock it up with. In addition, I'm going to carry some other items that I think could be essential. If you've ever read the book 1 Second After, which is excellent, I highly recommend it, there's the shock value. What happened? You know, what's going on? So I always carry one of my AM, FM, shortwave radios. I keep it in a little tin box like this for a little bit of EMP protection, and I put it in a sandwich bag for a little bit of water protection. You can also buy an external antenna for it. That's what's in this Pelican case. And also this shows you this document here, which you can hunt around online and find something similar. It has by time of day where the likely frequencies will be for foreign news stations that are given in English. So that can be very helpful to finding out just what's going on. In regard to first aid, I carry a number of items, not only for the B.O.B bag, but if you're at a large event where you're not going to carry the trauma kit with you, but you could quickly retrieve it from your automobile, it can be quite helpful. So one item I carry is a modular bandage from Tactical Medical Solutions. This is an excellent bandage, in some ways better to the Israeli, and I highly recommend them. I also carry a full blowout kit, and the main portion of this is actually a prepackaged contents, which has quick gauze in it, has a decompression needle, a nasal pharyngeal airway, Z-folding dressing, some nitrate gloves, a chest seal, elastic bandage, pressure dressing, a casualty card, and a pencil. And it's all prepackaged, and it's from Imminent Threat Solutions. So just an excellent buy there. I also have a CAT, a tourniquet. I have an Israeli bandage, a dual pack of hyphen vent chest seal. So this would handle a pretty serious traumatic injury from a gunshot wound or knife wound or a machete or car accident, something like that. And then doubling up on that is another trauma kit, which I actually bought at an Army-Navy store originally, and I've added additional things. But second, combat application tourniquet, some Lubrigel. This could be helpful in getting a nasal tube down. It's got some H&H compress gauze, another twin pack of hyphen vent chest seal, and then you pull this out, open it up. You've got a nasal pharyngeal airway. You've got some adhesive tapes, sometimes people call this coach tape, another Israeli bandage. In addition on this, you're going to layer on the everyday carry items you have, which I covered in a separate module. So the further away from home I am, the more days of additional hiking. For each day I'll add another MRE. So one MRE a day, and you're hiking 10-15 miles a day, you're going to probably lose some weight, but that's not all bad. So this is an example of a B.O.B, bailout bag or get home bag. Be prepared for life and disasters.